I just submitted a bid for a $74,000 floor in a luxury vacation home. Let's price a job like this out and see why the price is so insane. At the end of this video, I'll tell you how much money I was going to make on it. I did a little research, and on Zillow, I found that this house had sold for just under $1 million in 2021. And it was a little bit run down, so they're doing a full gut remodel, everything down to the studs. Our biggest costs for the project are 1, the flooring material itself, 2, the labor to put it in, and 3, the labor to sand and finish it. This is a classic wood floor installed, sanded, and finished on site. There were also stairs in this bid, but I'm not going to talk about those because it's just way too complex of a subject for this video. But let's first price it with something more affordable and more common, a 4-inch wide white oak plank. Then let's price it in the category of flooring where it actually was, ultra wide plank custom engineered floors. Let's price out our cheaper option first. Now, there's definitely hardwoods even cheaper than that, but this is a popular option that a lot of people like. From a cheap lumber mill, we might be able to get this 4-inch white oak for as low as $5 per square foot. But we prefer to stay away from the cheap mills at all costs. You get what you pay for. We're going to be going with one of the nicer mills. We are going to plan to pay $7 per square foot for this wood, and we're going to add our 10%. We're going to be at $7.70 per square foot. On installation, you can install a 4-inch wide plank with traditional methods, just nails and underlayment paper. We don't have to get into the epoxy moisture barriers or the special flexible wood flooring glues. That saves a lot of money on labor. For labor to install this 4-inch white oak, I would say the range is probably 5 to 7 per square foot. We are not on the cheaper end, but we're usually not the most expensive bid either. So let's call it $6 a square foot for labor. Now we have to sand and finish it. There's a lot of factors to consider, but at the end of the day, if you're paying for a new hardwood floor, you want the best. So we need a plan for a stain and 3 coats of a commercial grade water-based finish. The average range for something like this is usually going to be $6 to $8 per square foot. We'll use $7 per square foot for our calculations here. If somebody is doing it for less than $6 a square foot, things are a little questionable. There's a lot of things a hardwood pro could cut corners on without you knowing about. For example, they could tell you you're getting 3 coats of this expensive commercial grade water-based finish. Then they could apply it at half the thickness it's supposed to be, and just like that, cut out half the finishing cost. This brings us to a total of just under $21 per square foot for the final product. And this is a new construction, so we aren't planning to remove baseboards or remove carpet or do anything like that for this price. 2,000 square feet times $21 per square foot is $42,000. Now let's price out the luxury package that we were talking about. We're going to be using a 10-inch wide plank here. You could go wider if you really wanted to, but even a large room can start to feel small if you go too wide on the planks. With the board being this wide, stability is a huge deal, so we definitely are going to have to go engineered. But it's going to be a high quality one. It's going to have a good Baltic birch plywood on the bottom and a 6mm wear layer on the top. So it can be refinished just as many times as if it were a solid hardwood floor. If you're building a multi-million-dollar home, you're going to be going with something unique on the floors. We're going to price out a rift sawn hardwood floor. And if you don't know what that is, I do have a great video on it. It's a unique and difficult way of sawing the lumber to make it look very uniform and also very stable. For material, we are looking at $14 per square foot before we budget for any waste. We add our 10% to that. Now we're at $15.40 per square foot. You could probably get it cheaper from a cheaper mill with shorter lengths, but we want long lengths. We want the best milling. We want the wood sourced from forests up north where the trees grow slower in the cold climates, and it makes for more stable wood. When we go to install this, it is a totally different beast than the other floor. A floor gets nailed down through the tongues. It's called the blind nailing. At the end of the day, you want to see as few nails showing in your floor as possible. The tongue is just on one side of the plank. So with a floor that's 4 inches wide, you've got nails holding it down every 4 inches. A floor that's 10 inches wide only has the nails holding it down every 10 inches. So you've got to glue the whole thing. We're actually going to take a trowel and we're going to smear glue over the entire floor. Then we're going to put the planks down and nail them. This is a special wood floor glue that is flexible. It can move with the movement of the wood. You would never want to use something like liquid nails or Home Depot adhesives in general on a floor like this. This process is both very time consuming and expensive in materials. The labor range for an install like this, $7 to $9 per square foot. We'll price ours at $8. Now the sand and finish process is largely the same, except with these wider planks, everything must be better. With the smaller planks, defects and imperfections in your sanding might hide a little bit. Now we always want it to be perfect, but with 10-inch wide plank, the process is more tedious, it's longer, we're going to add extra steps to make sure it is absolutely perfect. The range for sanding and finishing a job like this, $7 to $9 per square foot. We'll put ours at $8. When we add this up, we're at $31.50 per square foot. Multiply that by the 2,000 square feet, we're at $63,000 for the floor. Now, how much money was I going to make on this? To calculate it, we need to take out the direct cost of the job, so the labor and the materials. Then we need to take out the overhead costs, like the vans, the machines, training your employees. A new van stacked out with new equipment is going to run me at least $120,000. For overhead, I never want to exceed 20% of the revenue that I'm bringing in. If it's getting over that, the company has grown fat and the costs are too high for the amount of money being brought in. For direct cost of the job, between my material and my labor, I'm going to be at about 60%. That brings us to a total of 80% in costs. That's a 20% profit before taxes, and that comes out to $12,600. Now, you might be thinking, whoa, I could do this for way less, but let me ask you this. Do you have the money to send your employees to out-of-state training events so that they're the best at what they do? Are you going to be providing paid time off for them? Are you going to have a good insurance policy that covers both you, the employees, and the homeowner in case, heaven forbid, something goes wrong? And if something does go wrong and you're $20,000 in the hole, are you going to have to file for bankruptcy and screw the homeowner and your employees over? Or are you going to be able to fork the cash up, finish the job, and do right by everyone? If you can't answer yes to all these questions, you're going to put everybody at risk if you wind up getting the job. And you're going to end up shorting the customer, your employees, or yourself. If you like this video, I just finished one up on the downfall of hardwood floors that ties right into this. Check it out right up here.